Well, hi there, bakers. I am taking a break from doing the laundry for all the people around here in this house to jump on and give a quick synopsis of our favorite, well, specimen, shall we say. She did a live, basically, once again, trying to clickbait on other people's channels. Now, if you haven't been watching me or you just found yourself here, I am a troll, and I troll for the good of people and pets. I troll a person who has taken advantage of the mentally compromised and elderly and abuses pets actively. I troll to expose the truth, and by doing so, I hope that I can stop others from being taken advantage of and save other animals as well. So, with that being said, I do protect my identity, and I focus on this snow globe now. I used to just put face masks over the thing, but I figure this is a little more exciting. So, you'll just have to imagine what I look like. That being said, LBL started out as she's always wanted to be famous, okay? She is a 60-year-old that acts like an infant, walks like an infant, behaves like an infant. She is an infant. And she copies. She's always copied people. She can't get an original idea to save her life. But if she sees somebody doing something and they're getting money for it, she figures, why can't I do it? I should get money too. So she started out, she heard from somebody that you can become rich and famous on YouTube by doing your makeup. You just have to sit there and do your makeup and talk. And then all these people will follow you, and then they'll give you money, and you don't have to do anything. Now, mind you, she's on full SSI, full disability, Section 8, food stamps, medical coupons, you name it. She had everything from the government and child support, and made her child out to be a behavior case so she got money for him as well. On top of all of that, she had her mother financing everything, all of her food, all of everything, and financing expensive cruises, which I don't know too many people who live on SSI can afford, but she was doing it. And so she thought she'd just do her makeup. Well, at the time that she started doing that, she was about 400 pounds, right in that range, and had just kind of bleach blacked hair with a little flip. And she seemed kind of endearing. You kind of watch and you're like, oh, yeah. Now, I have a history based on mutual friends and whatnot, so I know her backstory, and she doesn't know who I am. So we'll just keep it at that. The way that this plays out is that because she saw other people doing something else online, she decided she would start using those hashtags to get those viewers from other people who are actually doing that exclusively as a channel. So like if somebody was good at ASMR and had a very relaxing voice, or knew what they were saying with layering, what do you call them, monotone beats, or I don't know, but they layer music and stuff in a way that engages both the right and the left brain, and that relaxes. And so there's a science to it. But she saw it and she decided, oh, well, I can do that too. I can do it with lip noises, and I can sit there and I can chew chips really loud and make loud smacking noises with my lips. And then she saw people getting a channel for doing their fingernails. So then it was all fingernails. Well, then it was people doing mukbang, or however you say it, eating large amounts of food, which was right up her alley. She's like, I eat a ton of food anyway, so why not film it and have it on there? So then all of a sudden her makeup channel was hashtag with makeup, hashtag ASMR, hashtag nails, hashtag mukbang. So anyway, through this time, she has kind of like Sherry with Lamb Chop, but Sherry with Lamb Chop, bless her soul, did not exploit the puppet in any way. Did not exploit Lamb Chop other than putting her hand up. Anyway, I won't go there. But she basically does that with any animal that she gets. She expects that animal to be vessel in which she becomes YouTube famous, which YouTube famous to her means people give her money for watching her, and that's what she always wants. She wants money. She wants money, and she does not want to pay tax on that money. She doesn't want to earn that money. She believes she's entitled to that money. Okay. Now she hails from Brookline. Okay. And every other word out of her mouth is, oh, she's from Brookline. So, they didn't do that like that. Where she's from. She has world class healthcare, world class dental care. She's from. Well, she hasn't been there she hasn't been from there forever. She was obsessed with the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills because one of the men that she tried to trap by becoming pregnant said, hey, if you go get an abortion, we can have a real kid later. Okay. Just go and get this real quick. And then we can get married and we can have a kid when we want to, when I'm established financially. So he tricked her into getting the abortion, and that man ran. Well, that man ran to Beverly Hills, California. And so she made it her life's goal to get to Beverly Hills, California, because she believes it's her right to become his wife and live the lifestyle. So anyway, that didn't happen, but she wanted to hashtag California, beach, etc. Made her mother convinced that she wanted to feel sunlight on her face in her final days. And the two of them from Beverly Hills, oh God, Beverly Hillbillies. The two of them from Brookline got into a airplane, first class tickets, and had all of their wares shipped to them. But ultimately, the child that she did have, that she pawned on her mother because she wouldn't actually take care of him because she chose to drink and abuse opioids, well, she should have been a parent and had multiple authorities involved in care plans and whatnot for what she was doing. She basically used her mother as a cover so that her mother would care for her child. And so basically the child turned 18 and Granny ran back to Brookline. So that being said, she is now in Arizona, and she's had all of these animals throughout her life. And I don't understand, because she has a way of manhandling anything, and she manhandles animals, and it's very upsetting to anyone with an ounce of empathy what she does to these animals, but she does it to try to get YouTube views. So she got this dog that she borrowed money from a friend. Friend will never see the money again. She went and put down her elderly dog that she was hitting on camera. She went and put him down, saying she was blind and deaf. Rest in peace, Bella. Because she wanted a new puppy, and she knew that she couldn't have 3 dogs and 1 cat and a lizard. That was just too much for her. So she wanted to euthanize one to get a new one. And that's just disgusting. And so she has this puppy that she bought from, yes, a backyard breeder. And she's very proud of it. She does not believe in any veterinary care for the animals, and she does not believe in house training them at all. So they shit and piss all over the floor of the apartment that she has paid for by the government with Section 8. Okay, so that being said, last night, her hashtags were, last 2 nights ago, I don't know, whatever the nightmare of this frickin' live was, but hold please while I moisten my mouth with lip sounds. Excuse me. Anywho, I'm drinking Molokai Coconut Bai. I just love that. So anywho, she had a friend over last week. Oh, sorry, hashtags. So because she saw somebody else drinking sake, then she wants to have a sake. So then now she drinks sake and eats store-bought, what do you call it? COVID brain. Sushi. Because there was people who make sushi themselves, and they make an art out of sushi. Well, she figures she can get some sushi from the grocery store and use that as a hashtag to become YouTube famous. And so it was sake, sushi, candles, and some shit, I don't know. So anyway, most of it was just her getting drunk. And you see the way that she changes. Like at first she's a mean drunk, and she was raging, right? And then she gets into the happy drunk, and this is when she often pulls down her pants, and you get a little surprise. But she didn't do any of that. She didn't do any full body showing this time, but she started going on and on about how she couldn't believe that she had a bearded dragon. She couldn't believe that she once did that. She can't believe that she has all these tattoos and piercings, and oh, she's just so into herself, and she can't help it. She says she's pretty. She she I've never seen anybody so obsessed with themselves. And for those of you who don't know what the hell I'm talking about, you might want to pop on over and see this showgirl for yourself. For those of you who do, you know what I'm talking about. And she'll sit there and primp and prime in her reflection nonstop and into the camera, and it is just bizarre. But this time we got a lot of good side shots, and I went ahead and put those at the top of the channel for your viewing pleasure, not edited at all. They are the natural. I don't know how to edit my pictures. As you can see, I don't know how to edit videos or anything like that. I'm not too tech savvy. And so, anywho, she starts going off and says that she was a student teacher. When was she a student teacher? When in all of this, when she was the Wolf of Wall Street, going for every interview known to mankind, lunching with mama every day, going on cruises, being a drunk, snorting cocaine on Wall Street, screwing up her kid, was she a student teacher? I don't recall that chapter, which means that she had, okay, a student teacher. That means that you have went through college with your degree, and a student teacher follows one teacher for one school year. I don't know where we would have missed this lovely chapter. Probably in the same chapter as when she says she was a ballerina. Now, ballerinas have a certain type of anatomy, and their ankles are very small. I took a couple ballet classes like any kid did. And I have very small ankle bones, very small ankle bones. Well, she says she does too, and she has the bones of a bovine. I'm not kidding you. And so the idea of her, because she was a big child, big bone child, big bones. And so there's suspiciously no pictures of her being a ballerina. And I've never heard of her student teacher adventures, or that she went to college to be a teacher. But now she's blabbing that she was a student teacher. And in the same right, she starts going and she starts, I can't believe I had a bearded dragon. And, I took such good care of that bearded dragon. Yeah, when I sold it, rehomed it, kill it. The lady who got it was just so impressed with it because, I put a hammock in there and I put some curtains in there. It's like, no, you idiot. You tried to make the bearded dragon a Barbie, okay? Basically because I think Nicole Richie has like a bearded dragon on a leash. They can get, big, and if you socialize them correctly, they can be quite the pet. But they require a certain diet, and they require calcium powder and whatnot. I think they can't absorb calcium on their own or something like that. But the pet store did not want to give this bearded dragon to her because they told her that it needs a certain very strict diet, and it requires live crickets, I believe. And I can't remember what I fed my beardy. I got a beardy that had been chewed up by a dog and abandoned and very, very sick. And it had the kind of disease that they get. It's very sad. It's in their bones. So I basically had a beardy on hospice care that I had. But under no circumstance are you to give a bearded dragon sorry, COVID brain is affecting me. I can't find words half the time. I'm going to say mealworms, but I don't know if that's the term. I'm sorry. This is what happens with COVID brain. I had COVID very severely in August and I almost died. So I had meningitis and I still have word finding problems. As you can tell, I'm going to say mealworms right now. It could be a different I'm pretty sure mealworms. So under no circumstance do you give the mealworms to a bearded dragon because they cannot digest their exoskeleton. Mealworms, if I'm saying that right, have a they're the little ones that weevil in flour and stuff. You don't want to get them loose because they'll destroy your pantry. Um, you have to go and buy them. You have to go and get them from the pet store. Each week or so, and then you feed the mealworms in turn, and then they breed, and you get a little mealworm farm. It's not difficult, but it's something that other lizards eat. Like she had a couple of other ones that she killed, Fringe and Fringe too, and so those would eat the mealworms. But under no circumstance was she to give mealworms to a beardy because they can't digest them. So another thing about reptile care is that they can get a very opportunistic infection from our biota as humans. So you must always wash your hands carefully and with antibiotic soap and whatnot when you are to handle your reptile. And it's not advised that you handle them too much. And she loves to say that she's so clean and everything. She's got this gross table that has all of the reptile skins and all of the hair of all of the animals that have gone before and every meal she's ever eaten. She has no way of ever cleaning it off. You can just see these scales, and she makes jewelry on it and sells hideous jewelry on Etsy to people that she bullies into buying it. But anyway, you saw this beardy. She would jerk it around like a bouncy toy. Like she would hold it up and down and jerk it around, like holding it like a frog, and like giving it the equivalent of shaken baby syndrome, but shaken lizard syndrome. She'd shake it. She'd put it all over. She'd have it walk all over her unwashed self. And this one black shirt that she wears nonstop. She says she has several of them, but no, it's the same black t-shirt. You can identify it by all of the hairs of the dogs that have went before. And she saw somebody mukbang their reptile that can eat mealworms with chopsticks. And they did 999. They gave this thing 999. This thing was willing and able. It came up. It ate every freaking mealworm that it was handed to him. I don't know if they're the same as goldfish and cannot stop or whatever. I never gave that many of anything to my lizards. I would let them eat, and in a 5 minute, I think you're supposed to do like a 5 minute period and see how many they can eat in 5 minutes, and then don't leave anything else, because then anything else living in there can bite at them. So she saw somebody else getting all these views for this mukbang that they did with the lizard, and mukbang is what she tries to do with herself. It's Mukbang. I don't know if I'm saying it right. I don't know if it's mukbang or mukbang, but anyway, go with mukbang. So anyway, she took the poor beardy that she said was a woman. And when she held it up, you could obviously see the testicles. You could see. So she named it Lizzie, because Lizzie wants to watch TV with her. And Lizzie would watch Vanderpump Rules with her. And in the Beverly Hills the Beverly Hills. Don't even, I can't. She sat there and said it was watching TV with her. Yet, put any lizard in a cage and put it in front of the TV. Its movement is going to watch it with you, okay? It's not that the lizard is into Jax and Stassi, all right? But that's her delusion. And then she, put these hideous stickers all over the cage and everything. Basically, she was trying to treat it like a Barbie dream house with the lizard, but it was a man. So Lizzie's balls would be like juggling all over when she was, shaking this thing, trying to become YouTube famous by hashtagging bearded dragon, etc., etc. And like I said, the pet store did not want to sell this to her. But her story now is that, there's this dilapidated lizard up in the corner in a little cage in the back that she rescued, and now it has a better life. No. It crossed the rainbow bridge because she forced it over, because what she did was mukbanged it. So that idiot took this bearded dragon, held open his mouth, and shoved 1,000 mealworms down its throat. Okay. Now, the reason why you cannot give a beardy, once again, mealworms, is they cannot digest their exoskeleton, and therefore that worm eats the lizard's insides from the inside out. So, given that they cannot digest them, what do you think 1,000 mealworms are going to do to one bearded dragon? And this bearded dragon was not one that's the size of the dog, like Nicole Richie's. We're talking about one about the size of a hand, of an adult hand. She shoved 1,000 mealworms down its throat. Soon, the poor thing started changing into a very unhealthy color, losing its spikes, and was dead. Now, there is something that beardies do, and it's called brumentation, where a lot of people do think that they are dead, and they go out and they bury them, and then 3 months later the thing comes and visits you in the gardens like, hey, what's up? um because they go in, it's like a hibernation when they grow. And so, because she had read something on Wikipedia about, she picks and chooses knowledge. So when she was hashtagging bearded dragon and everything, she was trying to get into the reptile community, which is a very exclusive community. And they really love their reptiles and give their reptiles the best life possible. It's a thing, and they breed them, and they care for them. They trade back and forth. And I may or may not have wrote something on Craigslist about not ever letting this beast get her hands on any other lizard or supplies, because that's how she was getting them, because pet stores would not sell to her anymore because they got her marked pretty quick, with the way in which she was being very inappropriate in pet stores, with the animals in there. And so she started getting them her animals off of Craigslist, and one of her subbies saw the thing on Craigslist after 3 freaking months and had to go tell her. So then she had to flag it and got removed. But I mean, me or somebody else like me, got the message across, and she was not welcomed into the lizard community as she thought that she would, because the lizards and the tattoo community, the lizard community and the tattoo community are one and the same. And she keeps trying to break into the tattoo community, but they don't want her. So she just goes and pays to get piercings so she can hang out in the shop. And I'm sure they do pickup sticks or something, to figure out who draws the short straw and who has to touch her again. But anyway, what she did to that reptile is sickening. There is no child that would have gotten a reptile and would have done that. It's sick. She wants to act like she's an expert on everything. In fact, she says that she's a member of Mensa. Well, Mensa must have really lowered their standards then, I can say that. Because she'll read something and she'll take what she wants out of the article and repeat that, not giving all of the facts, all of the backstory or text in which it was created. So, although anything regarding basic bearded dragon care says not to give mealworms, yeah, she gave mealworms. Now, did she give it part of everything that she was eating in a day? Yeah. Does she, because she's on food stamps, does she go and get vegetables and strawberries and all kinds of crap and everything to give him? Yes. Yes, she did. Okay. And that is wonderful. But you have to appropriately powder it with the calcium, etc., etc. There's other things that beardies need. They need to have the two different lights. I think the UVA and the UVB. If I'm thinking, I can't remember. It's been a while. You have to have the two certain lights. You have to keep them at a certain temperature. They're a fragile animal, and yes, she bathed it, but you have to be careful in what you bathe them in too, because, like I say, I mean, they can get opportunistic infections. And so she never washed her hands before she touched him and shoved 1,000 mealworms down him. And all of a sudden, then he looks dead. And so she starts being the expert in brumentation, and that he's just brumenting. And then all of a sudden, she's not talking about him anymore or anything. And about 2 months later, she's like, oh yeah, well when I rehomed Lizzie, no, you didn't. He went over the Rainbow Bridge as his rehoming, okay? And so now what happens is after an event goes on and people have questioned her about it, be like, where's Lizzie? Where's Bella? She develops stories to, because she gets new viewers. She'll lose 1,000 viewers and get 500 new ones. Right now, these new ones think that she's just this big fat woman who loves her animals. They don't know the history that of what she's doing. So this chapter will be Rest in Peace, Lizzie. And we'll call it that. Thank you for watching.